Yo, welcome to Smoke Chill and Chit Chat Podcast Edition, YouTube Edition, Alice in Wonderland Edition. Let's get this podcast started off right. So I wanted to talk about Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon movie, 1951. The cartoon, the animation, Alice in Wonderland. Let's not mention the newer live action ones, just because out of respect for different directions and different characters, and like the Alice in Wonderland I saw growing up from the cartoon was so different in those movies. When I saw them, I was just really it like tore my thing apart, my mind. I was just like, no, that's not my Alice in Wonderland. But it's like that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Like, are we just in a world of our own Wonderland? Are we in a world of our own imagination? I like to think of the imagination as like some powerful tool that we could use as people, something that can be sharpened. When I ask someone if they have a big imagination and they say no, it's like such a sad thing. I'm just like, no, you got to have a big imagination. I want to sit here and pretend we could jump in a spaceship and launch into, go into Mars and run around and bump into Martians and dig to the center of the earth and live in a tunnel and then make a fort. Like, I'm a kid at heart. So Alice in Wonderland, it's really close to me. And I never really realized it until I was older. So I'm making this video now because it's like this childhood memory of mine that keeps gnawing at me. It keeps gnawing at me. And then so now I'm making this video. This might be the first of a long series of Alice in Wonderland discussions, diving deeper into what I want to say is, let's just say, a higher consciousness subject, hidden coded messages that like I see in Alice in Wonderland, and I'm wondering, I'm putting it out there on YouTube and I'm putting it out there for people to hear, and I'm wondering if maybe other people see it. Maybe I'm not the only person who can make these connections, but I've been watching the movie over and I've watched it over and over my whole life. I've watched it a bunch of times growing up. It was one of my favorite movies, like I said. So are we living in a world of our own imagination? Like, Alice in Wonderland starts off with what? Like, she's with her mom, she's with her cat, she's chilling in a tree, and her mom's trying to get her to like listen to her like history lesson, right? So it just, that isn't that everybody? Like, aren't we all just sitting around with our moms with our history lessons to be learned? And so you could say that's reality, that's reality. She's living in this world, right? And it's not of her own imagination. It's supposed to be like, brick and mortar. Like, it's supposed to be a real world, let's just say, even though it's a cartoon, even though we're watching a movie. So then, when does she fall asleep? That's what I was thinking. It was just like, she sees a rabbit, she sings a song and she kind of touches water, and so as a kid I always thought that's probably when she falls asleep. Like, she sings a song, she touches water, then all of a sudden the rabbit is like running. But I always thought it was really interesting is the rabbit's running through our world. It's like, it's not popping out of the rabbit hole saying I gotta go and popping back in. It's like quickly running through the world, going back into the, yeah. Oh yeah, you want to say something?
Almost,
yeah, of course.
as if it's inviting us in. That's what I wanted to say.
We got my girlfriend here in the house. I mean, I'm talking to her and I'm talking to you guys, and I saw her. She's like, I want to say, So of course, if you guys want to say something, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below, and then if I actually get some comments and I could like respond to them, that would be amazing. Because right now this podcast, it's it's going to be a deep dive into many Alice in Wonderland topics. So it's like the rabbit in our world. What's going on? It's running through our world. It's experiencing our reality. Like what kind of rabbit can do that? So then it's yeah, so then you could beg the question of when she falls asleep. But it's a thing of like, when do you fall asleep? You know, when I am falling asleep, I lay down. I made a video. You guys could check it out. We'll probably put it, somewhere in the description. Yeah, I can't. I don't know how to do it where it's like we'll put it right here. I'm not that technically savvy, but it's like, when do you fall asleep? So when is she asleep? Is it when, she touches the water, like I said? Because that's exactly when the rabbit comes out, the music picks up, and I've been watching it over again, like I said, so it's fresh on my mind. You guys go check it out, Alice in Wonderland. um so then she like runs into the rabbit hole, and she has her cat, and so there's this whole conversation that she has her with her cat before she goes into the rabbit hole. I don't think many people remember the conversation that she actually has with her cat, I think Dinah. And I didn't even remember the conversation. I was watching it over again and it blew my freaking mind. I was like, no wonder I am who I am. I've been watching Alice in Wonderland since I was a kid. It like programmed me this way, to be paradoxical and to like enjoy complicated rhymes and rhythms and odd things and things that shouldn't be that are. I'm into things that are that aren't. I like, it's just like, what, the imagination is part of that. Because I mean, I'm big onto many different, beliefs, but one of them is that the from this like abyss of unmanifest energy, a connection is made. You could call that like the God particle or something, where now all of a sudden there's a reaction and things happen, and from nothing comes something, right? So like, from what's your imagination? Your imagination is from is just this abyss, just this like this energy inside you that you can gather, that you can collect. And it comes to us when we sleep at night, this crazy imagination of ours. People say they have dreams and they're trying to interpret them. I'm thinking, my interpretation of dreams are just like, they can definitely symbolize, obviously, your subconscious. What you dream can mean different things, though. It doesn't always mean what you think it might. So I just don't want to like throw out a bunch of dream information. But look up your dreams, and if you find like a reputable like website, where even if it's like, I say the best websites, they don't ask you for money. They just give out information, and they're cool about it. I mean, they might ask you to sign up for a letter or two. Like, I've been to a lot of websites where they're like, here's a little bit of information, but sign up $10, if you want to hear the whole truth. It's like, you never have to pay money to hear the whole truth. You should always seek out the truth, and it shouldn't cost any money. It should never cost any money. That's what the greatest truth is. It's like, knowledge is power. They can't take away what you know. And so if you know something, if you know a great truth, I mean, something that's a great truth is like, I don't know, like, just pick a teaching from any of the great uh, prophets, or just like enlightened beings. Or, I mean, if you want to say like, I mean, I go back to Jesus a lot because I grew up Catholic. So, I mean, I just think of things like love yourself, love your neighbor, So these things are like true. If you could just love yourself, if you could just love your neighbor, your life just changes overnight. It's like amazing the change you can make. It's radical. So when it comes to Alice in Wonderland, I have a lot to talk about. I might go down deeper. We're getting to like the 10-minute mark. How you feeling, baby? Should we keep pushing it? Should I keep diving down deeper? So there's like a well that I could go to that is my knowledge, let's just say. And I keep going down deeper and deeper, and I could just ask myself a question whenever I get stuck, whenever I'm like, well, can't think of anything else to say. I just, my brain and my imagination, there's two separate things. They like talk to each other. Like my brain's like, what are we gonna do? My imagination's like, okay, just give me a minute. And I could always think of something. I've never bored. Even when I'm sitting around just looking at nothing. I've been punished so many times in my life when I was a kid. I've been told to sit there and just do nothing. Like, and I'm like, do nothing. I'm just like, heck yeah. I'm just gonna sit here and just like look at the wall. So I could zone out pretty good, and I've had a lot of time to zone out in my life, and now I'm an adult. Now I'm zoning out on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like going deeper and deeper, like I said, into this topic. So I care a lot about it, and I don't want to just give it all away in the first like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't want to make this video 2 hours, 3 hours, but we were talking about it. I could literally probably talk about Alice in Wonderland for like 10 hours plus. And I'm not gonna force you guys to listen to all the 10 hours right now, but maybe if we let it out in little chunks, that might be cool. So we're gonna be doing some things, with Smoke, Chill, and Chit Chat. And if you're really watching, if you made it to this 11-minute mark and you're just getting your popcorn ready and you're just getting mentally sit down, did you smoke your first bowl? Are you ready? Are you ready to go on the like Alice in Wonderland, the journey? Because I've been talking, and this is like Smoke, Chill, and Chit Chat. So this is just like me talking about Alice in Wonderland, one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm about to get real with you guys. I'm about to like drop the knowledge bombs. And the reason why I've waited this long is just because I don't know, to weed out all the people that are just, the analytics drop so much. So like if you're here now, it's gonna make like people like, like it's this weird thing where I wanna like talk to the people who are listening, because there's a group of of everyone where maybe they're supporting, maybe they're cool, but they're not listening. And my whole life I've made that a big priority, is to like comprehend, is to not only hear but to freaking to be present enough to actually listen. And so I've worked on that my whole life because I'm from a big family, and I never felt like no one was listening to me. I'd be like, hey, the house is on fire, and the house was on fire, and everyone would be like, shut up, Joe. And I'd be like, dang. I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just making it up, right? No. So like, are we just making up our own lives? Is it so there's a line in Alice in Wonderland where it's like, oh, we're in a world of our own wonderland, and it's in the main credits at the very beginning when I was listening to the song. There's some like old song that's like and I was listening to it, and I'm just like sitting here, with my notepad. I was like trying to like take notes for this podcast, and they were just like, it said something really interesting. It just said, well, I mean, I wrote down things like hidden meetings, my life, but it's like the whole thing it wrote down. I thought I wrote it down, but I'm so stoned I must have just wrote it in the thing I think I posted, where it's on Instagram. But long story short, let's get back on topic because I'm stoned. If you guys are cool to keep watching after I forget what I'm talking about and I'm like so stoned and I just keep smoking, that and you're cool to stick around because the knowledge bombs are coming, and that's just kind of the way I deliver things. I'm so sorry, guys. I deliver things really oddly. I try to build up like a pyramid and let everyone, dissect it. So let's talk more about Alice in Wonderland. Like the whole movie as a kid. I grew up watching it, and it was just this like wonderful, beautiful cartoon. The animation's beautiful. The music is beautiful. And then the cartoon is so goofy. It's like the goofiest thing ever. There's characters that are running around getting wet, and they're running around the fire, and it's like the ocean keeps re-wetting their clothes, and they're like, run around, you'll get dry. And this is just me talking now from like my memory of the movie. I mean, one of my favorite parts is the walrus and the carpenter, that little the poem, that's added. I don't know if that's in the original book. I think it might, or I mean, if it is, it isn't, but it might be just part of the cartoon. They put it in there. And it impacts me so much whenever I watch it now. Like I'm an adult, so I could like super. I'm like taking in all this information, and I'm like super ready for it to blow my mind, and it blows my mind every time. You know, there's a walrus, there's a carpenter, they're walking down the beach, and it's like this story of life, and it's repeating. It's like these stories are ageless, and they're warnings. They're a lot of just like, just in the warning in the sense where your grandma tells you to be careful when you leave the house, or your mom and dad and you kiss you and say be careful, or maybe your friends are like, hey, okay, be careful out there, text me when you get home, right? So these like messages are just like, maybe like the people who made them, they didn't even know that they were making these messages. That's what I trip out on. Like, are these messages purposeful, or like, am I just picking up on them? Did I just make them up or whatever? But if I did or didn't, I don't know, but I'm down to talk about them. So when it comes to Alice in Wonderland, I constantly think like, what is reality? I'm constantly thinking, what is reality? Do I have the ability to change my reality if I just sit here and focus on like certain thoughts? And if I could sit here and just change my reality thought by thought, I mean, is there any stopping me? It's just like, what's going on here? Is there what would I build my world? Like, what do I want as my wonderland? And I constantly tell my girlfriend I want peace and quiet. I want to be at peace. I want to, I mean, and they talk about enlightenment, and I've read a lot of books that talk about enlightenment, and it's just a thing of like, do I want to be enlightened? No. I mean, the answer is no, but I mean, am I enlightened? It's like, I don't know. I try to just spread, knowledge, the knowledge that I've received. It's not my knowledge. I don't know anything, okay, guys? If you're tuning in just now and you're watching this, I don't know anything, okay, guys? But what I do know is like the stuff that I've experienced. So like I've watched Alice in Wonderland like 1,000 times, and so I could talk about this movie all day. So when it comes to just all the different scenes, like the caterpillar is just so intense for me. I love the whole scene. Just, who are you? Like the caterpillar's blowing smoke, dude, just like a in his own little world. A. When I was a kid, dude, that would like trip me out. He's just singing letters. Like what kind of character is this? What have you ever sang letters? Have you? I mean, other than singing A B C D E F G. I mean, I've sung this out loud, the A when I'm working. When I used to work at when I used to work at barista coffee joint. But it's a thing of just getting me through my day, just like the tune. I could hear it in my mind. I mean, I smoke, obviously, right? It's like the caterpillar. He's chilling. He doesn't, it's just like he's kind of mean. He's kind of mean to Alice, and then it's like, who is Alice? Is Alice a representation of me? Is this like a one-on-one reality where we are Alice? Like, this is Alice and this is her wonderland, right? So then it begs the question of just like, who are you? What is your wonderland? And then so are we represented in Wonderland? And I told my girlfriend this. I said, what if in the whole movie you were a character in Alice in Wonderland? Now just imagine you're a character in Alice in Wonderland, but you don't get to choose which character. You are forced to be like a character. You could be the five of diamonds in one of the scenes at the end. You could be one of the birds that's running around forever, getting wet, trying to dry itself over and over again. It's like, if we are just individually plumped into, like, who's the Queen of Hearts, if it's a one-on-one representation of reality, this cartoon that isn't real, like, let's just superimpose it onto our reality. Like, who is the Queen of Hearts to you? Who is the rabbit to you? Who is the Mad Hatter? And just that whole scene of the teapot, the tea party, an unbirthday, and just like the craziness, the zaniness, the singing. I was really into it as a kid, but I mean, if we dive down into it in all these different levels, I want to break down each scene individually. So I'm just kind of touching on, this is like a video that's like touching on all my memories. I'm not even like looking at notes. I haven't even sat down and like studied the movie the way like I really want to get into this movie. So like right now you guys are just getting like a fresh take on like me wanting to like to really make this like the rest of my life. But we're probably going to be wrapping it up right now because I mean we're at 20 minutes. I think that might be one of the longest YouTube videos that we've put on. We've go on for like a whole hour. We have hour-long videos on YouTube, on Instagram. So check out our Instagram. We're Smoke, Chill, and Chit Chat. And then everyone on Instagram that's watching this, you guys know, you know, because you're on the YouTube and whatever. But like, I want the guys to be like, hey YouTube, hey Instagram, and hey guys, you know. So, I mean, if you guys could just like and subscribe. I don't know about the sharing. You guys could just like and subscribe. That'd be all right with me. And then I mean, so we're gonna dive back into this topic. It's gonna be an Alice in Wonderland like discussion. Like we're gonna do stoners. We're gonna do, you know, stoner talks. And this is like strictly like a stoner talks Alice in Wonderland like premiere like episode. And then the next episode it's gonna be, you know, maybe the first 5-10 minutes discussed in length, and then, you know, the next scene, and then the next scene. Like if you've ever thought of Tweedledee and Tweedledum, what do you think of Tweedledee? What do you think of Tweedledum? I mean, they sound like they're these ridiculous characters, right? And they speak kind of ridiculously, and they're kind of seen as dumb. But I see them as like two gatekeepers with the knowledge and wisdom of the past, bringing it to the present, trying to give, you know, Alice these warnings of that are complex and esoteric with their knowledge. And it's like, how do you interpret the oysters being eaten and then the carpenter? Like, I want to get into all those things very deeply, and I feel like I'm not going to be able to as quickly as I'd like with the video that I want to do. So that's why this video, it's just touching on all the topics. I mean, we haven't even really talked about the Cheshire Cat, or I mean, some of the biggest things that have impacted me is just like Alice walking down the path that's being erased by some dog that has like a brush on its mouth and a brush on its butt, and then she's left there just in. So I, you know, in my personal life, I've been abandoned, you know, by everyone that I knew and loved. But then, you know, I mean, they were there. They were, you know, they were there. But this like imagination land that I was living in, I was abandoned, and it was real. It was like, who's to say what is real in your own imagination of what is? You know, reality can change in a split second. And so it's just really interesting. This movie is something that just touches me. It touches my heart. And then I watch it over again, and I'm able to like put together the things that I like, I think about, and I see in this movie. And I'm just thinking maybe those thoughts were always there because I've seen this movie, because when I was a kid they were implanted there without me even realizing it. And I think God, you know, when it comes to that kind of like deep level of like inception, you know, like things that I've been thinking about my whole life were implanted in me when I was 5 years old and I didn't realize it. Like, you know, the things that I've been thinking about, like, who are you? Who are you? It's all. All right, guys, I'm gonna be talking more about this topic in depth. Thank you for watching. You know, go check out our Dank memes on Instagram if you're on YouTube. Enjoy your YouTube journey. All right, peace out. See ya.